17th, 2025, Finance Committee meeting to order. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Zach?
Second it.
Any questions or, nope, seeing none, all in favor? Next item is Danielle. Hi, Danielle. Nice to see you. You should come and sit right in that seat.
Thought administrative was first, but that's okay.
Oh, it is.
Administrative
Oh,
first.
I am so sorry.
I thought it was
I've
too.
decided we want to do that first. That's fine, no problem.
It's all good.
As long as they get done.
Yes. I have a lot of questions this week,
Oh,
too.
I'm running on the committee, I can't motion.
Not yet.
But yeah.
Sorry, I sort my papers here. All right. Not on the agenda, but at your table are the 2024 audit.
Oh, reports? Put it in my.
Yep, so we, our audit was finished for 2024. And because we had, you'll have two reports on your desk. And because of the ARPA funds that we spent and the airport funds that we received and spent was over $750,000. So we had to do a single audit required by the federal government. So that's what the smaller one is. And what they do is they go through like more detail on our controls, our approvals, our purchasing, receivables, payroll, and all of that to make sure that we're, in compliance with the federal regulations. So in that report, they didn't find any errors, they didn't find any omissions, in the stuff that they tested. So we have a clean single audit and we have a clean audit for 2024. And at the same time, so we get this one wrapped up and we're rolling through the 25 audit. We're hoping to have that done by December. So as we were kind of sending everything all at the same time, today I sent the last of the kind of odd requests that they need, some different confirmations and stuff like that. So those have been sent, and we should hear back from them. Like I said, by the end of the calendar year is the goal for.
Is that, this is unusual, isn't it?
Well, we've had, with COVID and the new auditors, we were all getting caught up on stuff.
it, yeah. Okay.
So December is the normal year, normal time period that we should receive our audit, going forward.
Thank you.
So on the financials, for the month of October, and I apologize, I wasn't here to present September's financials, so if you have any lingering questions on that, I'd be happy to answer those as well. In the month of October, we had nothing extravagant happened. The only thing that was kind of out of the norm is we did an economic development transfer of $151,000. As you know, with the Global Secure building, we're collecting rent for that, and as we have to pay interest and principal, we make the transfers over. So that was just the transfer of the money that we had already collected to pay towards the interest that we had paid on that loan.
I saw that.
So,
I was looking at it with the property taxes and the general, we've already got 104.69% of all of our money that we're supposed to be getting this year for taxes.
no, so that's the full amount that we bill. So we put it in as a receivable in the revenue, so that's all the revenue from the taxes. And then on the receivables, we've collected just over like 56% so far.
But, can I ask you this?
Absolutely.
Are there a lot of people not being able to pay or haven't come in to pay their taxes because of?
No more than usual. So we do have quite a few citizens that wait until March and pay the full payment at that time. And then we do have a few citizens that wait until the day before the impending foreclosure, when the city owns the property. So it's a gamut of people that
If they
pay.
come in March, they don't have to pay any interest then either, do they?
Correct. No, they'd have interest on the first half from November 1st to March.
That's not too smart, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there was no other significant revenue that came in that I had to comment on. Any questions on the revenue? Expenditures, other than under the central services, the finance department, we had the debt and interest payment on our global secure loan. So that's what it wasn't the full 600,000, but that was the biggest part of it that we had. There was nothing else remarkable that came in. We haven't had any, grants coming in. We haven't had any grants going out right now, so it's a slow period for the next couple months as far as items coming in and out. Any questions on the expenditures for general?
Yeah, Danielle, when do the county taxes get paid?
In September.
In September?
Yes.
And where will they appear for what's due?
Those are on page 4. The third gray line, it says county taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So 1,229,000.
Okay. And when do we get the projections for the next fiscal year? So I think we're,
February? Usually
February.
early February, early March, we get them.
and those are funds that we do not have a budget vote on, correct?
Correct. The county is allowed to levy taxes on our citizens.
Okay. That's a big line item.
Back on the expenses, one of the things I was looking at was park maintenance and operations.
Yes.
Okay, the parks, we've got one over here,
Mhm.
and we've got one in Stillwater.
Yep. It also includes the 5 cemeteries.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it does?
Yes, yep, any green space that we have is in that Parks
I
Department.
didn't know that, all right.
Does that also, okay. Does that also include any trail maintenance? Do we have any expenses for trails?
We have a little, but it's not significant. Depending on what it is, it might be split between the parks and Public Works.
Okay.
They've rebuilt a few things, and so we've left some of that in Public Works.
Okay, thank you.
Back.
The 107% spent on utilities, what is that coming from?
Which department?
Sorry, in park maintenance operations.
That would be, that's actually the water usage at the splash pad. That gets turned on in April or May, so we have a small fee to turn it on, and then we get the final bill in October, so that's the water and sewer for that.
But not expecting that to go any higher?
No.
Just for the water? Okay.
Correct.
Well, right now, it's pretty cold.
Right. Well, I didn't know if it was just for the water.
Question for you, though. Cemeteries. You buy a lot. How much of that goes to paying for, goes into an account where it also covers years afterwards as far as cemetery work is concerned and stuff? What is,
I would have to look it up. I can't remember if it's 15% or 5%.
now, that's not much money, because I know a lot of places do a lot more of it. But they also have gone up on their lots, too, as far as how much. Because it's prime land. So is that something that we might want to look at for our budget for upcoming? Because when I was at the Maine Municipal, they also were talking about the fact that they have a lot of strict rules as to what they can put in the cemetery, because a lot of things cause it very difficult to be able to mow the lawns and stuff. So they have rules where some of that stuff can't be there because they're not always stopping and picking stuff up. I think that's something we might want to talk about, because that would certainly help our public. It just would help the mowing the lawn. I can't imagine having to pick that stuff up and putting it back or whatever. But going up, I think, is an idea as to, I mean, not a lot of money, but I think that it would.
Aren't most of the lots already purchased? I mean, a lot of them
Oh,
are
no.
already purchased.
We still have
Not in Lawndale.
yes, we still have
There's a lot in
yeah.
Lawndale.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of them are already purchased. There's a lot of empty lots. They're not used yet. I mean, somebody's already there, but they have another lot.
There's a
Yes.
beginning of the dash, not the end of the dash yet.
They have another place to bury people.
Yeah.
What's the current cost for a lot?
625.
25.
It's for a regular burial.
That's right,
not
that's,
cremation.
that's for,
Full
yeah,
burial.
that's.
Full
Full burial, yeah.
Yeah.
The list is right on our website.
Yeah.
And we haven't updated prices for quite a few
No,
years.
that's it.
No, yeah.
That's what I mean.
But there, yeah.
You can put cremations on top of full burial, so buy a lot if you,
You can?
absolutely.
That's why I don't think there's as many people gonna be buying lots.
Interesting. I heard something different, but okay.
Moving on to our balance sheet, again, it's fairly routine. Back to when you had asked about the uncollected part of the taxes, so we have $6,173,000 of uncollected taxes for this year, as you can see under taxes receivable, so just under half was collected.
And we're right kind of on par for
Yes.
historical.
Yes. All right, any questions on the balance sheet? Moving on to pollution. Again, they're very routine. They have quarterly invoices that come in, so this isn't a month that we would have a quarter billing. So there's nothing significant there.
Does Milford pay quarterly too?
They do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that.
Because it's an yeah.
Yeah, they paid just last week.
Oh,
And so it crossed over into November.
Okay, gotcha.
Because we send the bill out and then they'll pay right off, but
Okay.
it crossed months on us. And expenses, we had nothing significant for expenses. We actually had I forget the name of the town down south, reach out to us. They have they're decommissioning or changing out their wastewater, some parts in their wastewater plant, and they're ones that we use and they're hard to get. So they've contacted us and we're gonna be able to get them at no charge, other than labor to go down and get them. So that's a huge savings for us, because again, when something breaks, it breaks $5,000 or $6,000 at a time. So that's very exciting for us coming up. Any questions on pollution's revenue or expenses? Nope. And then their balance sheet, again, shows their user fees are, right in line with what's been collected, what we expect. So there's no surprises for uncollectible sewer accounts there.
I know we're going to be doing our budget earlier this year.
So we've started the process. Yep, so, capital and, payroll is our two largest expenses. They both take time and consideration. So to start the process, we've sent out the capital items list to all of the department heads. And they have until, I think, the end of November to get them back to Bill and I so we can look at that. But we sent them out, here's everything that we have. Please, prioritize it and the condition, when it should be, replaced, what its value is and stuff like that. So we have an extensive sheet that we've sent out to them.
Any other questions, Danielle? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
No, because I got
No?
one, I got
We
to
got
go
one more?
backwards. You
Oh,
remember,
sorry.
I-
Apologies.
Okay.
Oh, that's everything.
No, that is.
There's everything.
Yes,
Well,
somebody giving me a hard time.
I'm not on the finance committee.
Right.
I made an error to approve the minutes, but I don't think I can do that.
No.
right?
No,
No.
you can't.
So you'll have to go back and just do that real quick.
I will.
I'll do approve the minutes.
Okay, there we go. And all those in favor? Oh, second, who was the second?
Second that.
Baby
all
second
right.
it.
I'm looking over at Laura. She's probably totally confused.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Cross those two out and put the other two.
All in
Good.
favor? So moved. And to adjourn.
No, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. And second.
Charlene.
No, it was okay. I'm raising my hand to approve.
Okay, all in favor? Now you can. Okay. I'll be glad when I'm not doing. I'd like to call the Administrative Service Committee meeting to order, November 17th, 2025. First item, approval of the September 15th and October 20th, 2025 Administrative Council meeting minutes.
I am on this committee, so I will make that motion.
Thank you, Zach. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Katrina. First, yes, let's have a vote first, right?
Yes.
All in favor? So moved. Discussion of the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with the Rock Church located on Main Street. And you have the MOU in your packet. And I will have somebody at least give us a little briefing on it, sir.
So it took a little bit of a turn the end of this week. They are looking at the size of the building that they want to put up on Stillwater. There's some question on how that would actually lay out on the lot. And the other thing that was brought to our attention is they're considering selling to another nonprofit, which definitely impacts this agreement if we were going to do that, because that was all done with the idea that we were going to have a for-profit business in there. So put this together for you guys to consider, but right now I would say you don't want to consider any of this until we hear exactly where they stand on this. So we just found that out late Friday. So
Are we sticking to our guns as far as making sure that it's a place that we're going to collect taxes on? I agree.
I mean, that was the original
Yeah, was it?
idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
The exchange of the property for a for-profit business, so.
And I think if they walk away from it, and now we've looked at it and get ideas for it, I have a feeling there might be somebody around that would like to buy it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's really, I guess we have to make a motion to table it until further.
I'm gonna say, reading over, I appreciate that under 3 responsibilities, 2 city responsibilities, you took out that we're supporting the infrastructure of it. That was,
Yep.
that could have been expensive quickly.
Very much so.
Do I have a motion to table this till, do I have to have a time, or do I just say indefinitely? Because we
Yeah,
can
I
come
mean-
back?
You can just table it, then you can pick it up. You can just
Okay.
put it
You
back
just
on the
gotta
table.
remember it's on the
At
table.
some
Right.
point.
I'll make a motion to table it until we have
We have
further
a-
information.
Second it.
And a second?
Yep.
And all those in favor? So moved. Next item, review of the sale offers to date on the City of Old Town tax acquired property. And this is what you passed out to us?
Yep. Yeah, in your packet, you will have received to date what the offers were on each one of those properties. If you all have that in front of you. We have 2 offers at 244 Benneck Road. One was $10,000. There was another one for $5,000. 11 Grays Lane had an offer for $8,500 and $6,500. 802 Stillwater Avenue, an offer at $18,000. 68 Lincoln Street was $30,500, and 85 Vesey Street was $28,500. At the very bottom of that, in that listing, that's there's a note in there that says seller will remove any asbestos or hazardous material. That's something that they put in their offer for the city to do that. My suggestion would be to counter that, to go back and say, and again, this is just putting this on the table, we've got an offer at $28,500. Looking at what we spent on the pool, which is around $4,900 to take out the asbestos. I mean, that's certainly a much smaller structure than that, but I don't know if we want to counter that to say that we'd give them the credit. They could do that, but that would reduce what we would receive in the bid, or do you want me to say, we'll accept the 28.5, but you take care of the asbestos, I'm fine with whatever you want to consider, going back with a counter offer on that.
Are we sure there is asbestos there? I know it's a
There
little
is.
house. There is?
Yep.
I think, I'm not on the
Nope.
committee.
Oh, on the committee first, then you can, anybody else? Go ahead.
I think they ought to take care of it themselves.
So just let the offer stand at the 28.5 and, yep.
Agreed.
Yes. I agree.
Which one on 85, is it the one on the end, or is it one next to the end?
On
VZ
VZ,
Street?
it's kind of in the middle. It's the only one with the blue tarp on the roof.
That's the one that's the one I thought it was, okay. Because the one next to it was for sale, but it's been sold, correct? Where Bushard used to live?
Yeah, I'm not.
That's two over, yeah, the other tarp.
Yeah, the other top. Thank you.
So that's what we have for offers. Those are the only offers that we brought forward on these. Next steps would be if you wanted to move these forward, would be we'd receive purchase and sale agreements to sign. I'd need authorization to do that. Obviously, VZ Street wouldn't be included in that because we'll have to counter that offer back. So we'll have to bring that one back.
The 68 Lincoln Street, how much below asking was that, do you know?
That they reduced the original on that, so it was fairly significant. I'd have to go back and look at what the original.
That's the one below Lincoln Street.
What's that?
Is that the one below Lincoln Street or up on Lincoln Street?
Well, depends on what end you come in on. If you come in on the playground end of Lincoln Street,
That's below.
right when you go around the corner,
It's-
that's
It's where all that
second.
junk was?
There's one house right there in the corner, and it's an empty lot. The next one up on the street on the left.
I'm assuming by the prices, not a single one of these is livable.
No. Nope.
And we're sort of in slightly legal murky water here, is that right? Lawyer of ours?
In what way?
And we have to accept the highest, but it has to be a year.
So the statute says that you are required to sell the property for the highest price that it can sell within a year. The problem with that is that selling with a real estate agent does not really lend itself well to that process because you're not going to get an offer that will be valid for a year. So yes, my recommendation would be that the statute requires you to sell it to the highest offer that you can. And the reason is that then you get the highest amount, potentially highest amount of excess proceeds to go to the prior owner.
Devil's advocate here, if we did not stick with that statute and chose something different, what's our liability?
Potentially a prior owner could bring suit against the city to challenge the amount of proceeds that they got. So to say that it wasn't sold for the highest price.
How long have each of these been on the market?
Since we signed on the sale date was 10/6. I think they were live 10/16. So as far as typical exposure to market, they've been out.
Month.
And that kind of comes down to the expertise of the realtor that they're listed with as far as what they believe the market value of the property is, and whether these offers are kind of in line with what they would expect it to sell for.
I just have a question about the law. There was something about 3 realtors, so if 3 realtors refuse to.
Yes, so the city is required to list it with a realtor. You have to try to list it with a realtor 3 times. So, the first one was like, no, for whatever reason, I don't think this is going to sell. You go to another one. If you get that response from 3, then the city could dispose of the property in any other authorized way.
Do we want to make a decision tonight?
For these offers to be good, we'd have to move this forward.
To bring it to the total council, correct?
Yes.
What's the latest we could do that in order to meet the 12/5 date?
The 12/5 closing date.
Yeah. When those offers would expire.
That's next.
Oh, I don't think that's when the offers expire.
Slightly less than 3 weeks.
I believe that's when they want to close by. Let me double check. Yes, so that's when the transaction would be finalized. In order to close it on 12/5, that would be up to the buyer's attorney and any title work or anything they wanted to do, but they're guessing they're generally going to want 3-4 weeks.
We're already less than that.
We are already less than that. I mean, honestly, it's really wouldn't be like up to my office. We provide the deed, and the buyer's office would do the closing itself.
So we're required just to accept the highest bids here on 11 Grays and 2444 Bennig. And are we looking to add that to the special council meeting that we're about to have tonight?
I would move it forward to that.
Okay. And leave an 85 VZ off of this for, okay.
Yep.
So I'll move to put forward to count. Should it be separate ones for each property? Or
Yeah.
all the same?
We could list them, 24 Bennick and 11 Gray, 802 and 68 Lincoln.
Before we,
Sure.
should we really be doing that tonight? I mean, can't we wait till to do it in December's meeting?
If we do, these offers won't be any good then.
Oh, all right, okay, I see what you
Yes.
mean.
The December's meeting is what, 12?
The first.
12/1st. It's up to the buyer's attorney to do the deed and get it done and closed by 12/5, right? So technically,
My office would provide the deeds to, well, whatever title company or attorney that they're using, but it would be up to them to do whatever due diligence or title work that they want to do before they close.
so technically, we're still within the time frame,
Well,
but that's kind of pushing it too, I realize that. but-
these offers generally expire November 21st.
Oh.
There's one that expires November 19th. So if you don't accept them before then, they expire.
Separate motions, you said, for each one? Or all?
No,
together
you could
the same?
you could include them in one. You could just name each one of them in there.
Property and price.
Holy moly.
All right, I move to put forward to our special council meeting later tonight, the selling of multiple properties, 2444 Bennick Road for $10,000, 11 Grays Lane for $8,500, 802 Stillwater Ave for $18,000, and 68 Lincoln Street for $30,500.
I'd second that.
And with VZ Street? Does it-
Yeah, I'll have to go back and
Let's check that one, all right, I just want to make sure, okay.
You
Do I-
guys can vote to counter on that instead of accepting it.
Put them, do we have to make a motion for that?
Yeah, I think we'll
Yeah,
leave
we
that
gotta
one.
finish, we gotta do this one first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Zach's made a motion.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Oh, I seconded.
Trinity
Yeah.
did.
Sorry. Any further discussion? All those in favor? So moved. Do I hear how do you want us to do 85 Easy Street? Is to just,
We'll make a motion to counter with them for the
Okay.
removal of the asbestos.
so you're doing that, Chris, right?
Yep.
now? The motion is on the table. Do I hear a second?
What's the motion?
To counter
To counter.
back, so they're responsible for the removal of the asbestos.
Okay, second it.
Just
Is that-
asbestos or all hazardous?
Well, all hazardous material.
Yeah.
How this reads.
Yeah.
Asbestos, hazardous materials, all that. So.
Any further discussion?
So just like when you're buying a house, you often have them do that, but is this because it's a tear down
I wondered.
that they're responsible? Is that generally how it works?
It's because it's a tax foreclosed property. Generally, these are sold as is, whereas, due diligence is the responsibility of the buyer.
Great, thanks. I'm good with discussion.
All those in favor? So moved.
So that's gonna go to the next.
More than I expected. Next item, oh, we did that one. Discussion on entering into a boundary agreement between the City of Old Town and Sergeant Gravel Pits. No. This one's not. Love that.
I don't know what I said. Good evening. This is Ryan Bragg with Sargent Corporation. They reached out and asked if the city would be amicable to entering into a boundary line agreement between our two gravel pits off of Route 16 on the left, just as you're approaching 116. So they're on the left-hand side. We have two gravel pits that have a common boundary line, and under state regulations, neither one of us can mine within 50 feet of the property line. Obviously, in this unique situation, they're both gravel pits. So there's nothing detrimental to either side for us to mine closer than 50 feet. But the requirement is that there's a recorded boundary line agreement to that agreement. And you all, being the owners, would have to authorize that. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Mr. Bragg has suggested that Sergeant.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch his name.
Ryan.
Ryan?
Bragg.
Yep.
I do have a
Okay.
picture. Can I?
Oh, good, yes.
I do have a few pictures.
Oh,
that
good.
give you- Wow. I don't know how many I would have to bring.
Oh, this side is the,
All right. Also, you don't have to share.
So I'll take my
Yeah, go to the next.
So this one's yours, right?
Yeah, so if you look at the map, we are 54A,
That's the estate.
and then your two parcels are 58A and 58.
Yep.
And as you can see in 58A, you have a small area where you guys do mining, and then our 54, you can see where we do mining as well.
Okay, yeah.
We're proposing a boundary line agreement between the two properties that we can mine up to the property line. The DEP requires that you leave a 50-foot, you're not allowed to mine within 50 feet of a property line. But if we had a line agreement, each side would be able to go up to the property line and mine and do extraction. And that's what Sergeant is asking. It's not detrimental to us. We can continue doing what we're doing without that, but it helps us utilize the property better, and likewise for the city of Old Town as well.
So, Ryan, when you said utilize the property better, it's just the fact that you don't have to necessarily quite pay attention to that 50-foot, and you can mine.
Right, you can mine up to the, we would basically, at the city's discretion, we would mark that line, that property line distinctly, so both sides knew where that property line was. We would delineate that and make sure that each side knew where exactly that property line was and where we could mine up to.
How close are you now?
We're not even,
Yeah, quarter
not
ways.
even where,
Quarter
well,
ways.
well,
This is kind of formality then,
Yeah.
essentially.
it's a
for you.
formality. Basically, we thought it would be best ahead of time. Currently, the DEP requires that if you mine anything under 5 acres, you're not required to, it doesn't have to be a gravel pit, you don't have to file a notice of intent. Once you start to encroach upon open area of 5 acres, then you would go to the DEP and ask for, you'd file for a notice of intent to open up a gravel pit. But this is us, we're just forward thinking, looking ahead, if we do decide to move forward, it would just be best to be able to utilize that area.
do you own 53?
Herb Sargent owns 53?
54?
53 is right here. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Herb Sargent actually owns 53.
Yeah.
Not Sargent Corp. Sargent Realty owns 4A, and Herb Sargent actually owns 53.
Okay. And then is that a house at 54?
We own that as well.
Oh, okay.
Herb Sargent owns
Or is
it.
there also
Yeah.
some sort of law about 50 feet?
I
from
believe that,
residence?
I
Is
don't
it?
think that home is actually still there.
Oh, yes, it is.
Is it still there?
Oh, yeah. It's just about right on the edge.
Yep,
Yeah.
we own that as well.
The edge? Okay.
Oh, in the house.
You know?
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Well, they're fixing it up, though, if that's the,
I'm not sure if they are.
I'd have to go
So-
look, see which one that is.
Linda, you talking about Ambrose House?
no, I was talking, yeah, no, it's further down than Ambrose, isn't it?
Where Ted Ryan lived, where the guy cut wood?
No, that's, because that's not anywhere near that.
So.
It could be
50
Ambrose House, but I know it's sitting right there, so it must be the same house.
Either way,
Either way,
we
it
would,
don't
we
matter.
would not
It
utilize
doesn't
that
matter, but
parcel
they-
either way, that's not a,
Yeah, okay.
there are DEP regulations against
There is a-
working up against the roadway, the public roadways.
See, that-
You have buffers
that's-
there as well.
that is the house.
So-
So I know it's not yours, but 53, it looks like there's a buffer between the gravel pit and the road, like a visual tree buffer?
Yes, that's 150, I believe we're required to have a 100-foot buffer between that public roadway.
What would be the benefit to us
Of what?
of this agreement?
The benefits would be that the city of Old Town
Go up to the line.
could
as
go
well.
up to the line, you could utilize that material as well. I know that you guys do have a gravel pit there, and that would allow you to,
This
you
also
would be leaving a 50-foot buffer as well if this, you would not be able to utilize that gravel.
Looks like we're not very close to it either. This is also potentially very forward-thinking.
Correct. We obviously haven't done the engineering study to find out what's in the bank there, but it's a potential
Right.
for more gravel to be excavated if we needed it, so.
If it's bank, is there going to be an issue about it all going down one side versus?
No, we're required by DEP for reclamation, 2-to-1 slopes for reclamation, and you're not allowed to have that type of stuff. You can build berms to protect from that.
Yep.
How big is that lot, Ryan?
Excuse me?
How big is that lot?
54?
Yeah.
Oh, you would ask me that. I don't know if it's 20 acres.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably not quite 20, it's probably 14.
Yeah, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know either, but we did discuss the need, as he said, to make sure that the corners are pinned and marked visibly, so when either side's working, that we're not crossing the line.
And Sergeant would take care of that, we would.
Because
we would put
eventually
that
you
flag.
could have no topsoil there, right? I mean, if you
Essentially.
both can go to the line, you could have a gravel pit all the way through there, so we need to make sure that it's marked on both sides, so. And they do have the crew to do that, so we talked about them marking that. And
We do
makes
it
sense.
once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, occasionally, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
So like I said, it's just forward thinking on Sergeant's
Yeah.
part. It's not a detrimental, it's not crucial, but just to be able to utilize the property for, and it also benefits the city of Old Town as well.
Does this have to, it has to be, if we approve it, it has to go before the council as well? Or do we
No, we could move that on to the next,
begin?
yeah.
Yeah, because it has to be drawn up. And
Yeah. I would go to the lawyers and I would get them to draw something up and I would pass that
Right.
along.
That
to
would
them.
be
we-
good, that would be really,
And we'd have Rudman review it, yeah. What's that?
First I heard of it.
Oh, we thought you were writing it right now? No. Yeah. So the December meeting potentially could come back if it was drawn up in time?
Yep.
yep.
Our lawyers are very, me getting answers, but I can put that forward and get some verbiage out there and we could
Yep.
go back and forth as to what works for
You
both
could just say a
parties.
future council meeting, you don't
Yeah.
have to necessarily put a date
Yeah,
down.
that's right, yeah.
Right.
Any further discussion? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
just a quick question. For further benefit, like, what's the timeline? How far out do you see the benefit of having this boundary agreement? Is it 1 year, 5 years?
That we would utilize it?
Yes.
Some of it we might utilize soon because we have an area where we have opened up and we have started mining, but we are well back from that. We have started mining that area. But just thinking forward, we could possibly, you would streamline, for us, it would be like a streamline where we would open up a face just to work back and forth as opposed to cutting in and then trying to work around a boundary. It helps us to just logistically plan ahead and work those areas. So it wouldn't be the whole line. We wouldn't be running down the whole line, so to speak. If you looking from the Bennick Road
Yep.
coming in, we're working a face basically going this way. We're not working going the long way. We're not working that way. So we might utilize some of that soon. If not, we would just continue where we are, continuing with the 50-foot buffer and working towards the interstate, essentially.
And sorry to remind me, it's a line agreement with 58 and 58A, that both of them, or? just
Yeah,
one?
because it would be, right, essentially,
Yeah.
that's what we would,
Okay.
it would make sense to do that, not just to cut it off at 58A and then
Sure.
realize down the road and have to come back and say,
This is something that'll have to pass once we all agree to it, if that's what you do, we'd have to file this with DEP anyway, so that anytime, if you're worried about any of this wetlands and stuff out there, they're going to have to stay back off on that anyway, so.
right, and once, if we started to go above, beyond the 5 acres, we would notify the DEP, we would have to file a notice of intent, you would be notified, neighbors would be notified, everybody gets notified that we're opening up a gravel pit more than 5 acres, and then at that point, this type of stuff would come into play, they would have to know that.
Do we plan to use 58 for gravel mining purposes too, or just 58A?
I believe that area is a wetland.
Most of it is wetland. I would have to ask Steve Rideout what our plans are.
I think your best utilization would be where the your two properties meet.
Yep.
In this area here.
I would agree, yeah.
And
Just
then moving
looking at-
forward, and even for us, as you can see, if you look at that picture, you can see a distinct, looks like wetland. You can see that comes right into our property as well. That may hinder us from going beyond that as well, because we have to do delineations and all that stuff before we can do anything anyway.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ryan, where's your entrance? Are you going in through the other
Yeah.
Sargent property, or?
You would come in, you see where 52 is?
Yes.
South of 52, there's a road that comes in,
Yep.
and that's how we access.
That's how you exit, okay.
Yep. And we actually improved, we used your roadway, I believe we did some improvements to your roadway coming in from the other side as well.
Yeah.
But
Or maybe they go up this way.
Just one
That
follow-up
looks like it's,
question.
I think they're gonna start in here, or.
Is there any
have started.
erosion concern with the change?
No, we take that into consideration
Well, I
anytime
thought
we're doing
that was-
anything like
they
that. We do
said
erosion
it was
control and
fif-
sub-fencing and whatever
I'm
current.
confused.
This is theirs, this is ours.
It's
Nope.
mandatory.
As far as on getting close to that property line, I
Right.
mean, obviously, it depends on what the use is on the other side of the line, right? So
Right.
we're a gravel pit, they're a gravel pit, so there's no concern about either erosion either direction there,
Right.
so.
And if there is, like I said,
Correct.
we have to account for that when we're doing it. We're required to do it.
So does the committee need to vote on anything, or are we just kind of putting our?
no, we do need to vote, motion
Yep.
to approve, yes.
Okay. Well, I will make that motion to approve, or was this a vote to draw up the boundary agreement and then bring it forward? Okay, so yeah, I'll make a motion to draw up that boundary agreement.
Second?
Any
Would you
other
like me to
questions?
would you like me to go have it drawn up, sent to,
To Redmond Winchell for review.
okay, could you forward me the
Yes,
email to
yeah,
do that?
absolutely.
We'll get that drawn up. I don't know the timeline,
Yeah,
but
we gotta
that'll be.
vote first.
What's that?
Let's vote.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yeah.
It's all in
Yeah,
favor.
there you go, 4-0. Okay.
Now you can.
Yeah, yeah, if you can get it drawn up, and I'll give you the information to forward it to our attorney.
Sure. That'd be great. Thanks, Travis.
Thanks for coming. I knew you'd have good answers.
Oh, good.
That's what we do.
Yeah,
Can I have that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Perfect. Thank you.
thank you. Don't set to go yet.
And we're up for the last one.
I cleared a spot for you.
Oh, thanks.
Update on the timeline on the ordinance for keeping of chickens on private residential property in compliance with the state of Maine. So bring us, oh, he's leaving. You can't leave. He's abandoning me.
He needs his folder.
I don't know how many times I've read this, so it's. Okay. What's happening with the chickens?
So the ordinance as drafted by Redmond Winchell has been taken through the planning board review process and was voted, as you have the notes from that, it's been voted to be approved. I have a marked up copy, which is the blue.
The blue one? I don't have that one
The
with me.
blue is what was changed. Most of it's just wordsmithing.
Yeah.
To give you the highlights, the amount of manure storage allowed went from 20 to 55 gallons. So they changed the size of that to address some concerns there. The word property and the word lot were switched in a few places. That's what I'm referring to as wordsmithing. Yeah, manure storage, one container up to 55 gallons.
They put in the parasites information as well if the chickens were sick.
There is an illness in, trying to get to that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I've got some wordsmithing there. First class just wasn't hyphenated.
I think it's 11306, section D was added for compliance with state and federal regulations regarding illnesses.
Yep. Yep. Remediation and illnesses,
Yep.
C and D, yep. We're both added to deal with any infestations or illnesses. Do you have those sections in front of you? Okay.
Yep, yeah, yes, we do.
Okay.
It's mine.
So Dave was very confident that the planning board looked through this and heard your concerns and addressed them with the guidance from legal, and that this is the last best containment of all those thoughts and processes that you have in front of you. So,
How do they define a structure that's not accessible by predators? I mean, a fence, is that what?
so there's guidelines for when you fence in a run, that the fence needs to be buried a foot under the ground, things like that, which are all steps to make it more difficult.
Difficult, okay.
I suspect the coyotes and foxes see that as more of a challenge.
Right, I was,
Right.
Raccoon, yeah, so, yeah, I mean, none of this stuff is fail-safe, right? Anytime a wild animal wants in,
They want in, huh?
they're- so it's just, this is the best attempt by legal in the city to try to keep your hands around what you've all had to deal with for the last 4 or 5 years with modern pests and things like that getting out of control. And that's not all chickens, it's bird feeders and compost piles and just things in tight, dense areas that can create problems for others, health hazards, things like that. So this is our best effort to try to lead with some understanding. People want this, and make it available to most. Some certainly will not, but to most. But there's going to have to be some guidelines, so.
how are we monitoring the fees in the sense of if they didn't do this, it's this fee, if they did that, it's this fee, that type of stuff? Who's going to handle that within the city?
This gentleman,
As
right?
far as collecting it?
Collecting
Or
it and
finance.
inspecting it?
Finance, yes, but-
So there'll be records, and certainly there'll be a report, or periodic report, that will show that, and all that stuff gets handed, just like my building permit or electrical permit gets turned over to the finance department for all the, we don't collect anything in code, we don't bill anything per se. So that would all be a sheet that would be turned into finance to be processed.
And you get to do all the inspections and stuff?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just curious.
This is one of the longest ordinances I've ever read.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Do you foresee any like legal trouble coming down the tracks? 'Cause are there any other like municipalities that have been getting challenged on stuff like this?
Yep. Yeah, this is, as has been discussed, a very restrictive ordinance. The reason being the history that the city has with rodents. Is it caribou?
You're right, careless.
Yeah, has currently, I believe, have been sued for a similar ordinance. You are definitely opening yourself up to potentially being sued for this as well.
But there are also, and this is, we talked about this last time, that Lewiston's looking at the home rule. As
Certainly.
far as, because this has been ignored. I mean, chickens were ignored in the home rule. And that's going to be an interesting thing too when it gets to court as to what will happen with that.
Yes, this is a new law, so there are definitely certain untested considerations as far as home rule authority. Also, right to food sovereignty could come into play here. Generally, home rule would allow you guys to prohibit chickens, as we established previously. How that's going to play with this is to be determined.
Do you believe for the most part that the provisions set forward by the ordinance are protected by the public safety aspect of that?
I think that the majority of the things that we have in here have been put in with an eye towards the public health and safety aspect, given the history of the city.
But it also follows the state rule too, the state law, which is, according to Jim Dill, we followed it very well, so we should be all set, so, well, who knows, but.
So the callus suit that's out there, is that just overall in general? How restrictive, is that what they're suing for, or are there aspects within it? Do you remember?
They have limits on the number of chickens as well. I believe they have requirements for how they can be kept. I do not know the specifics, but I can certainly get those for the next meeting.
There's definitely a learning curve here, and as with any rule of law or ordinances, a certain amount of discretion has to be applied as we learn our way through this with our citizens. I mean, how many of you have been stopped for 1 mile an hour over speeding, right? I mean, there's rules and then there's reasonableness. So we'll look to go forward with a reasonableness factor, and that certainly will not stop someone that decides to challenge the law. But what we can do is enforce what's in front of us now, right? And that's kind of the hand we're dealt. So.
I know several of you were at the meeting. Was there a lot of public comment?
No,
one
there
No
was no
comment?
public.
Wow.
I sat in my corner like I always do. When EJ came in later, you were there, and that was it.
Yeah, they did have the public hearing under statute. Unfortunately, no
this
one
is the committee
attended.
meeting. You can speak at when we're at the regular meeting.
Do you have a question?
Huh?
Can I speak? Ask a
Well, of course you
question?
can.
Okay. No, I was just wondering, I agree with Counselor Wiles, because I do think we have to strike a balance with public safety. So I hope that's going to stand up to reason in a court of law because of our past history with previous situations with chickens. But I guess what I'm thinking about is back to these inspection fees and so forth. Are those going to be inspections as part of the initial application, annual applications? Will there be any drive-by inspections, like, or if there's complaints? I mean, I always have a problem with laws that are very difficult to
Right.
enforce.
So the way it's written,
I know
there
it's
is
not our doing, but we're doing the best we can.
Right. There is the way it's written is there's an initial inspection before they can get their permit, and then there's a renewal inspection or a violation renewal inspection. So if there's some kind of complaint, some kind of problem, and they're told they have to get rid of them or fix a violation, then there's an inspection to follow that. But as far as a routine, once a month, checking them all,
Oh, yeah, I would expect that.
I would suggest it would get impossible at some point.
Yeah, no, I
with
wouldn't
one person
expect
in the
that,
office. It certainly can be a periodic thing, and honestly, more often than not, it'll probably be complaint-based.
Okay.
You know, if it's causing a problem, it's just as much our responsibility to check and see if it is a problem and enforce that problem, or tell others, educate others that it's not, that it's within the ordinance.
And the second piece of this then is there coordination with, like, for example, if there's a call to the police department, you have to work very closely with them? Is there any police support you think required for the enforcing of this?
Well, to be honest, we'll be figuring that out as we go. The police and/or animal control won't be involved initially in complaints. If the code enforcement officer felt unsafe or something, I'm sure Chief White, I'm looking at him right now and he's nodding yes, would support with, somebody shaking his head no, isn't he? Oh, did he?
No.
You know, that, I would certainly ask for someone to accompany me if there was a concern like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't necessarily involve animal control unless it was to the point of taking. If they had to be removed.
That's correct.
That's certainly not something I'm doing in my private vehicle. So we would ask animal control to come in and do that. So.
Thank you.
Should any suits come forward, is that met with any financial penalties, or will we just simply amend the ordinance? Like if a suit rightfully came forward and overpowered the ordinance.
Certainly. So there is a severability section in here. Let me find it.
It's going to be the cost of our lawyers. Is what it's going to be.
Yeah, where's our fee to the state for implementing this?
Oh, yeah. Is it in the?
Yeah, did we charge the state?
This wasn't cheap.
I know.
Or actually maybe something that is in the zoning ordinance in general. This ordinance, as it's written, is an amendment to the general zoning ordinance. So some of the provisions, such as like severability, it falls under the general zoning ordinance severability versus having its own. But, so yes, generally, if a portion of it would be found to be unconstitutional, illegal, whatever, it would not negate the rest of the ordinance. It would just take that portion out of it.
Great. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
One last question on
Go
process.
for it. Yeah.
When the state implemented this, was there any room for comment by municipalities? So like, we have to have public hearings so that we could express our concerns with implementing something like this. Is there a process for that?
I believe that there was, yes. I know that this, the version of the law that we have now is not the first version that came forward.
Okay.
The original one did have limitations on the number of like chickens that you could have, and I believe also lot size.
Yeah.
In its final version, they kind of stripped it down to what you see now.
Yeah, I believe Maine Municipal testified against this.
Well, the reason I'm concerned is because when they pass ordinances like this, the unexpected costs, when we're in very severe budget constraints, I think there has to be somebody at the state looking at these from an appropriations standpoint, is do these laws require dollars to be appropriated to support municipalities? So that's something we can hold and table for a different discussion, but that's just why I wanted to ask the process question, so thank you.
So if we approve this, it has to go to the full council, correct?
Yeah, so the first reading scheduled for tonight, there's a second reading. So it's
Okay.
first,
Oh, it is in there, I'm sorry. Okay, forgot, yep. Okay.
If you're comfortable moving forward with how it is, if there's, anything else, then
Yeah.
certainly.
So do we want to just, for now, wait until we have the,
yeah, because this is on the regular,
Yeah.
this is on the agenda
so we,
coming up.
you don't really need anything from us?
No, we just wanted to discuss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get to the
Yeah.
reading.
Want to read the entire thing?
Okay. Well, that's
Thank you.
the last. Yes, thank you so much. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Chris?
Zach?
Zach. Thank you very much.
All right. Last up, I'd like to call to order the special council meeting for City of Old Town for November 17th, 2025. First up, flag salute.
Wait.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next up is roll call.
A silent roll call has been taken and a quorum is present.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes for the September 15th special council and October 20th, 2025 public services meetings. May I have a motion, please? To accept those. Katrina, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Linda? Questions? All right, all those in favor? So moved. Next up is petitions, communications, and citizens' requests. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to step up, Mr. DeFabacca.
Good evening. John
Good evening.
Diefenbacher Crawl, Benneck Road, Old Town. I'm just trying to understand the process on the proposed chicken ordinance. I know there was a planning board meeting. I missed it. Is there any additional opportunity for comment, or is this all now just an internal city council process?
A public meeting.
We have
The
the
public
first, we
hearing.
have a public hearing coming up. That was the one, the first?
No, the
No.
public hearing's tonight. The
Tonight.
first reading,
Yes.
public hearing.
First
Yep.
reading public hearing tonight, right. So you can speak to it tonight, so.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, the planning board held a public hearing under statute.
Okay.
As required for a zoning ordinance amendment. So the public hearing tonight is not that public hearing, it's just whatever meeting that the council is having, that they're opening up to public meeting.
Okay. Anyone else? Toby?
Can I ask a question on the offers on 2444 Bennick Road?
Sure.
Was that every offer that you received with the expiration date being the 21st or whatever, or just the two highest that you brought forward?
There was, the ones that are on the sheet of those two, those are the two highest.
Those are the two
Yep.
highest. So you received other offers as
Yes.
well, just didn't bring them forward?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Toby. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on. Reports, Council President. I don't have anything at this time. Standing committees, Administrative, Economic, Finance, or Public Services. Anybody? Nope. City Councilors.
Can we add, I guess, to the next meeting or some future meeting, assuming it passes, the host agreement with Juniper Landfill?
When you say add, you would just want to review it?
Yeah, just the last one was pretty bad for us, and I wanted to see if there's any suggestions, because I know I've liked what the process is, and if we have any input we would like to have into that negotiation process.
Like a committee meeting to talk about it?
Sure. Whatever the correct thing is.
It would be during a committee meeting that, like this.
Mhm.
Where would we put that, administration? Under administration?
Administration, yeah.
With-
Just an open discussion on the host agreement, you mean?
Yeah, because I don't know if you read it, but it was pretty bad. And we have a lot of detriment from being the host community, and the fact that we pay for trash at all is pretty ridiculous.
Okay. Anyone else? David?
Have an airport advisory meeting this week. If anyone wants me to add anything or take it to that committee, I'd be glad to. Just let me know. Or if you have any questions about the airport.
At the airport?
Airport.
The only other thing that I had asked for previously was a workshop with the directors, and I think that as part of the budget kickoff, I would really like us to have some kind of workshop with the directors. And I'm not looking at a heavy administrative requirement for the directors, but more of a brainstorming and, what are the challenges and opportunities that we have, because as we get prepared for the budget cycle and all of the decisions we may need to make, I'd really like to know what's important to the directors.
So the department directors, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think it would be great to do that, because I would like to really understand impact of capital stuff not getting, or getting pushed down the road, et cetera. And then I think that, secondly, we've also talked about James Dill or somebody, but I think that if we are seeing things that are constraining our ability to make decisions, or we're getting impacted adversely by some things, I'd like to make sure that we get those concerns to the people that represent us. So if there's limitation in statutes, if there's limitations in feedback on, a law like the chicken ordinance, I'd really like to have that discussion with them ahead of time so that we don't have to react later.
Or how county taxes are.
Yeah, the county tax budget thing is something I think we really have to take up. We don't have the opportunity to vote on it, and it's basically a budget that's developed, and here you have to implement, and there's no ability for us to plan for that. So I think those would be three good places to start, and I totally support Juniper Ridge actions.
Yeah, I just want to get to know the departments a little better, too.
We did it last year for the
Yeah.
budget. It was
Yeah,
really
we did.
helpful.
Yeah.
I thought so, at least as a first-year person.
That's what you're waiting for, us to get their list, then November, and then we can start scheduling
Nice to do
those.
it, not just all about budget, too, just like, what's it like having 40 kindergarten and first graders at your library every Thursday? Thank you for that, I don't.
Okay, we all set? Special committees, have any? City manager.
I'm going to receive back on our FAA corrective action plan, one of the things that we're
Oh,
waiting
sorry.
for. Whoop.
Before I get, sorry,
Sorry.
I skipped Christie again. I don't know why I do that, but I do. Anything, ma'am?
Nothing separate.
I don't know why I do that, but I did that the second time.
I'll highlight it
Again, my
next time.
apologies.
We just want to,
City
we just
manager.
want to hear from you.
We got back our response on the FAA correction action plan. One part of that are the appraisals that we're having done up there, which unfortunately the appraiser has a delay, so we're not even going to get those appraisals till probably mid to late December. So part of that corrective action plan is to get those done. So those are in process, but a little bit delayed. As been talked about tonight, we've started capital review. Most of the departments have their items in. I'm not going to point any fingers at anybody who hasn't yet, but the vast majority have them in to Danielle right now. So I'm sure the rest of them will be in by the end of the week. E.J. Roach is going to be resigning here in Old Town. I want to wish him the best and thank him for all the effort here in the community while he was here. He certainly will be missed. We have, so far in the responses, for Herb Sargent, we don't have any responses yet. We advertised it in the paper. It's on Maine Municipal, and we also have it on the Maine Association of Nonprofits, so it's out there. So we'll see if we get any takers on that.
Started
That's
in
it.
the newspaper, and they couldn't get the print any smaller.
And to guess how much that costs.
Yeah.
That's
Do you
it for me.
consider the two discussions we've had with the two people already as their application for that RFP, or do you expect an RFP separate?
Yeah, no, I've sent that to both organizations to respond to.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else for Bill? Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Consent agenda, public hearings and second readings of ordinance. The Old Town City Council will conduct a public hearing for the first reading of the November 12th, 2025 recommendation of the planning board as follows. A, 113, keeping of chickens shall be enacted as an amendment to the City of Old Town zoning ordinance. B, 111.1, low-density residence R1 zone permitted uses shall be amended to read, agriculture but not including the raising of livestock or poultry. Subsection A, the keeping of chickens for personal use subject to the provisions of the section 113 shall be permitted. C, which is 111.3, seasonal residences R4 zone permitted uses shall be amended to add subsection 4, the keeping of chickens for personal use subject to the provisions of section of 113.
Sounds funny.
D,
personal use.
111.5, low-density multifamily zone R5 permitted uses shall be amended to add subsection 3, the keeping of chickens for personal use subject to the provisions of section 113. I'm going to open that up to the public right now. Now you can, sir.
7:06.
Good evening. I reviewed the proposed ordinance. I wish that I had attended the planning board because we had a number of comments when this was before the council about 6 weeks ago. One thing I still see is this requirement, so I am in the ordinance, reference this for people so they can follow along. So section 113.04B 5. And again, there's this insistence that we can't use scrap, wasteboard, sheet metal, or similar materials. I don't understand the purpose of that. I keep a scrap wood pile in my garage. In fact, my wife just yesterday fixed the steps at St. James Church from that municipal parking lot with a piece of scrap board that, was grabbed off of there. If a piece of scrap or used material would serve the purpose, I see no reason of having to make someone go out and buy new materials. I think partially why an individual or families might be raising chickens is because they need the food and they want to do it as cost effectively as possible. I wanted to offer alternative language that the hen house shall be constructed with materials of sufficient quality to ensure achievement of the standards delineated in this ordinance. Because I think that's sort of purpose. We want to make sure that the chickens are kept in the enclosure. We don't want varmints, predators, anything else getting into the enclosure, but forcing people to buy new materials when, again, I think probably what's driving most people is they want a cost-effective source of protein in their diet. And what we saw recently with some of the federal budget impacts and the dire needs of many of our neighbors here in Old Town, in the state of Maine, I know my household is very involved in trying to meet food needs of people in the community. We want to be as flexible as possible. I support the goal of this, that abutters should not be impacted by someone's decision about how they're going to feed themselves, but that just seems overly restrictive and unnecessary. In that same section, well, I'm getting into section 113.05, odor, noise, and lighting. D sub 1, only motion-activated lighting. I like motion-activated lighting. It can save electricity. I can say I have motion-activated lighting on the exterior of our home. It is problematic sometimes, in that sometimes it is triggered for when there's no one really present or no animal present. I've had weird things happen with the wind and other conditions. So it seems like the intent of this is let's cut down on light pollution. I support that. But I don't know that motion-activated lighting is always superior to someone actually turning on a light. I also wonder if the standards that are being, I don't know of any standard that forces other outdoor lighting uses to be motion-activated only in the city of Old Town. So just wonder about the fairness there of someone who's going to have a chip, but everyone else who's got a porch light or something, it's not necessarily motion-activated. 113.08, dimensional requirements, setbacks. I know I have a neighbor from me who right now has a chicken coop that would not pass this requirement in B. It's never been a problem. I'm just wondering, are we really going to cause people to give up their chickens? Is that the intent? Is there going to be any grandfather? What kind of education is there going to be? And I know you did a public notice on a hearing giving people an opportunity to come before you. But again, I think all things being considered, if people who are raising chickens aren't causing a nuisance of any type, let's have them raise chickens. I mean, I don't really see the purpose achieved by that. And the last thing, I'm in section 113.09, personal use only. The slaughtering or processing of chickens on a residential lot is prohibited. So I'm raising chickens for food. I want to slaughter my chicken. I'm going to have to take it to a slaughterhouse to be able to consume that chicken. Again, I think what we should be interested in is the standards. Yes, someone shouldn't be slaughtering the chicken outside and a bunch of blood runs into the public gutter on the street. We don't want that. I agree with that. We want those, if there's offal or carcass, any remnants from the slaughtering process and they're not handled properly, that's a legitimate concern of the city of Old Town. But just outright prohibiting from the slaughtering or processing of that chicken, forcing people, hey, I'm a fisherman, I catch big messes of fish. Are you going to prohibit me from, cleaning my fish in my home, on my lot? It doesn't happen. No one's ever complained about it. The person who's going to complain is my wife, and I have caught hell a few times from her of not handling my fish well. But I just don't really understand that outright prohibition. I think we should talk about potential negative aspects of someone doing that. But if someone's got the wherewithal and can do that, again, I think we want to do everything we can to support people trying to feed themselves and their families within reason. And again, I don't think neighbors should not be adversely impacted, but let's not put things into an ordinance that are overly restrictive on people.
Thank you, John. You bring up some great points, I think. I would love to hear, if possible, from code enforcement and I guess legal if necessary, just in response to some of these points that were brought up and the reasoning behind their addition to the ordinance. I think I marked them all down so I can point you to them if you want.
I took notes, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so like, as we've discussed, there's intent here to try to get our hands around this, so I'll try to go down through these. Cannot use scrap materials. Keep in mind that these are model ordinances that came from somewhere else. I understand what he's saying, but to take it that literally is not something code enforcement's going to do. The leftover piece of 2x4 that we use to fix the steps, nobody cares about. What this tries to do is protect the extreme, okay? The, 3 pieces of green metal and 2 of white and the tarp blowing in the wind into the neighbor's yard. To Mr. Diefenbacher Kroll, right?
Correct.
Okay. To Mr. D's point, because I'm going to say it over and over again, it's not intended, no one's going to go look for a piece or a used or a painted 2x4. That's not what the enforcement of code is. It's if it becomes a nuisance, then they would point to this and say, hey, this thing's falling down, it's not containing the animals to the intent of the ordinance. You're using plywood that their raccoons can reach through because it's rotted. Things like that are what the intent of these types of things are in the grand scope. Now, I understand it doesn't say that, but it certainly everybody understand it can't address every possibility of what's going to happen. So it falls, as I spoke earlier, it falls to discretion of the enforcement of what is reasonable and what is not reasonable. It's simply that clear. That's the best answer I can give you, I should say. Lighting, 100% agree. It's all about light pollution on the neighbors because we're bringing this into much smaller lots, okay? So it's all about not having the spotlight there. We all, I think, would certainly agree that we can't count that what any one of us feels is reasonable, someone else feels is reasonable, right? So this is an intent to not have that light on all night, only have it on if something moves, which, yes, the branch will make it come on and things like that, but at least it's not on, this, God knows from this time of the year, from what, 4:30 until, 6 o'clock the next morning. So it's an intent thing to try to limit the light pollution to a neighbor's yard. I agree. I'm not sure remembering, because I wouldn't, remembering to shut it on and off at appropriate times every night is something you can write into an ordinance. That's why I think this is the best chance that you have of getting your hands around this to limit the amount of impact on a neighbor if it's a motion operated
I will
Uh-huh.
light.
add to that too. One thing that's, because I have a motion lights, and I like them because if I have an animal or something going through my yard, it comes on and it alerts me. And I think even if you have chickens or whatever, if something's going through your yard and that light comes on, that's going to alert you that there might be something going on. So
And it'll deter the animals the first 3 times. And then after that, after they realize there's no pain, so they just go anyways, right? So, but no, I agree that they're less than perfect, but I think it's the most reasonable step that we can take. And I have no ownership in this ordinance. I'm just trying to explain to you from my perspective as a person that's going to have to deal this ordinance on what I think we can work with. Setbacks, I know it was just a hypothetical, but the hypothetical presented is in an R3 zone, so this doesn't impact that at all. R3 and R3A could have these before, and they can have them after. So the setbacks aren't the same, right? So Rs 1, 2, 4, and 5 are the most impacted by this, and not commercial zones because they can't have them in commercial zones. So it's residential properties in the smaller minimum lot areas is what this impacts. It doesn't impact that area outside, so to speak, outside Benneck Road, right, in the rural areas. So, and personal use of slaughter, again, I think his scenario is very real, but the impact when you bring this to smaller areas, it can't necessarily be done behind the barn. Like we that live in R3 potentially might have that space. but somebody on 7th Street might not have that space. Someone on 7th Street that grew up on a farm may have no problem with slaughtering the chickens on the tailgate of the pickup in the yard while the kids next door are playing. This is what that tries to control. I'm not trying to make a ridiculous scenario, but once you bring these things into these neighborhoods, certainly no one is going to successfully make a complaint that gets enforced under this ordinance that someone was slaughtering chickens inside their garage. You know, it's just, if they go in their garage to do it, out of sight, in their basement or in their tub, as long as his wife doesn't catch him. You know, those things are all personal choice. Once you take it into the view of others in smaller lots, it's not personal choice anymore for them. So it can have a negative impact, which will bring a lot of noise to you, because the enforcement action may or may not be able to be taken under this ordinance if it wasn't prohibited from being outside slaughter. So that's how I would view it from an enforcement, realistic enforcement approach. So I recognize these concerns, but I think there are mechanisms in place that we can be aware of those and address them.
Thank you, Travis.
So,
Very well done.
yeah,
Thank you.
can I just, I know, I think we've said this before, but just to reiterate that one of the reasons that the R3 zones are exempt, even though they might have a smaller coop and smaller, is because we have wild animals that will help take care of rats out there. And so that's why it's a little bit more restrictive in these more dense zones, because there aren't going to be foxes walking by. And
Well, that's certainly a help to eradicate the problem, yes, but also the density becomes one of the biggest impact issues, because if you have one place that has a little extra bird feed or a little extra chicken attraction on the property, one per every 3 acres or so, that's totally different than 7th Street or 4th Street or Bradbury Street, where, you could have 10 of them within 1,000 feet, right? So, on all these lots, right? So that's going to attract more vermin to those areas, more fox out of out of an adjacent university forest parcel or something, right? It will pull more towards them. So that's why it's tighter in those areas.
On the subject of the material, do you think that a shift to it saying something like any material of sufficient quality makes it too ambiguous to enforce? Like if you were to change that?
I would say if you leave it of sufficient quality, then I think that's going to be a hard thing for me to get my hands around. I'd ask the attorney for.
I think if we were to say of sufficient quality,
That's a judgment.
it does make it a judgment call. I feel like we'd almost need to then define what sufficient quality means.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of circling back to the same thing.
I will say, in agreement with that, I will say that Mr. D's wording, I believe I wrote it down right, of sufficient quality to achieve the standards of this ordinance, it still doesn't address what's sufficient, but at least it allows me something to say you're not achieving the ordinance. I mean, that raccoon put his hand through the used OSB because it's 14 years old. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not achieving the standard. So I can appreciate that wording. I mean,
I think that wording is certainly better than just saying of sufficient quality. At least it gives you kind of a benchmark of what sufficient quality means.
correct. And then there would be no argument over sufficient quality if animals are actually getting through it, that it's obviously not of sufficient quality. Right. So.
Thank you. Does that help to address your concerns, John, at least? Or?
Well, one, I appreciate his explanation. He's going to use some judgment. I think everyone, one, we have a constitutional amendment in this state, right, of food sovereignty, so one. But I also think probably several people in this room do have a background in hunting, fishing, trapping. I certainly do. Can appreciate people, and I grow a good portion of the food that we eat in our family. So I think, those are important things to uphold. But again, we want to enjoy our properties, and we shouldn't be negatively impacted on our properties. But I hear already he is going to be using some judgment, and so, but I think my language is better. I recognize what he started saying is that this was a model ordinance, and I can make I'd want to be constructive here. But I saw that this was a model ordinance, and I'm trying to tailor this, that this is the best ordinance for the city of Old Town. I guess that was part of my purpose of coming before you tonight.
I think we can certainly work on that one piece of wording there for you, and if that's what your desire is, and make sure it's ready, or however you want to do it.
Yeah, certainly, we can.
It's a pretty easy.
We can change that.
But it will have to come back to us.
Yeah, we'll be able to
You
move
certainly
forward.
you certainly can discuss something in a first reading and have it changed by second reading. I mean,
I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think it's written well, you've explained it extremely well, Travis. And, you know, common sense, we all have common sense, well, most people have common sense, let's put it that way. That, I personally don't think there's anything wrong with it, so.
Dave?
I think it's a work in progress. I think there'll be other issues come up as we go along.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to spend a lot of time
Right.
trying to fine tune every little bit of it right now. I like the change that you mentioned. If that comes for the second reading, I think that'd be fine. There's bound to be some other issues come before this group, before it's all over, so I think we're all set.
You good, John?
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, so we're gonna make a change to the wording or no? For this reading, so,
I don't think it needs it, but.
so we necessarily can't go forward because we have to go back to the change here, right?
You can go forward, they'll just make the change for the
They'll just
second
make the
reading.
change for the
The
second
second
reading,
reading.
okay. All right, so I'm gonna close it to the open public hearing. All right. Oldtown City Council will consider a motion scheduling a second reading and a vote on passage of an amendment to the City of Old Town zoning ordinance titled 113, Keeping of Chickens, as recommended by the Planning Board on November 12th, 2025. Council Wiles.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves scheduling on December 1st, 2025, a second reading and vote on passage of an amendment to the City of Old Town zoning ordinance entitled 113, Keeping of Chickens, along with the amendment of 111.1B, subsection 6, low-density residence R1 zone, permitted uses, and addition of 111.3, section B, seasonal residences R4 zone, permitted uses, and 111.5, section B, low-density multifamily zone R5, permitted uses, in accordance with the November 12th, 2025 recommendation of the Planning Board.
May I have a second?
You're actually gonna wanna edit that because we're not doing it as in accordance with the recommendations since we're changing the language. So it'd be as amended.
Okay, so strike in accordance following that and replace with,
As amended.
As amended by the city council on November 17th.
as amended by the City Council on November 17th, 2025.
Okay. Now may I have a second?
A second.
David? All those in favor? So moved. Thank you, Travis, thank you.
Yes, thank you both.
Old business, we have none. New business, the city council will consider accepting the renewal application for the state of Maine on-premises beer and wine license for Angela's Family Restaurant Incorporated, located at 484 Stillwater Avenue. Counselor White.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council approves the renewal application for a state of Maine on-premise beer and wine license for Angelo's Family Restaurant Incorporated, located at 484 Stillwater Avenue. City inspections are complete.
I'll second.
Zach. Any questions? All those in favor? So moved. City Council will consider accepting a late redemption on property located at 198 4th Street in the amount of $10,000 for the 2023 through 2025 property taxes and 2025 sewer fees. Councilor Rosilio.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council accepts a late redemption on property owned by the Chester Davis Irrevocable Trust located at 198 4th Street in the amount of $10,000 for 2023 to 2025 property taxes and 2025 sewer fees. The total amount collected includes lien costs and interest. The City Council further authorizes the city manager to execute a quick claim deed.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
David? Questions? All right, all those in favor? So moved. City Council will consider approving an abatement of taxes for the fiscal year 2024 and fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $423.03 and $426.57 consecutively for Lori and Brent Springer located at 317 Woodland Avenue. Reason for the abatements is error in the assessment due to incorrect garage and dwelling size entered. Full abatement information is attached. Councilor Wynn.
Resolve the Old Town City Council approves the abatement of taxes for fiscal year 2024 and fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $423.03 and $426.57 consecutively for Lori and Brent Springer located at 317 Woodland Ave. Reason for the abatements, error in the assessment due to an incorrect garage and dwelling size entered.
I'll second.
Carol? Any questions? All right, all those in favor? So moved. City Council will consider approving an abatement of taxes for fiscal year '24, fiscal year '25 in the amount of $2,729.34, $2,729.34 consecutively from the Maine State Housing Authority for property located at MAP 27 Lot 136. Reason for the abatement is the assessed incorrect owner, supplementals issued to correct owner, full abatement information is attached. Council McLeod.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council approves the abatement of taxes for FY 2024 and FY 2025 in the amount of $2,729.34 and $2,729.34 consecutively for Maine State Housing Authority for property located at MAP 27 Lot 136. Reason for abatement, assessment in incorrect owner, supplements issued to correct owner. Full abatement information is attached.
Second.
Katrina?
How does that?
I was just gonna ask discussion yet.
I didn't hear what you asked.
Is it like?
That you assess a incorrect owner?
Yeah.
You assess an incorrect owner. So all you're doing is normally this wouldn't come to you folks, but it's not fiscal year '26, so technically the assessor can't do it. It has to be only in the current year, so she has to bring that back because you're just exchanging the abatement and supplementing the correct amount to the correct owner.
The name on tax bills is switched on April 10th each year, and so sometimes things just happen in transit.
But this was for Maine Housing Authority. For property located. Because it just sounds strange to me. Oh. Hi there, how you doing?
The Maine State Housing Authority, this property, the deeds were mixed up and messed up, and they didn't log things and record things on the right dates.
Okay, gotcha.
And because of that, we had Maine State Housing Authority. We had you guys go through it, find out who really did own it at that point in time, and I've already supplemented those people for that. So this is more of a paperwork to clear the books for the Maine State Housing Authority, who doesn't actually and didn't own it.
Okay, all right, gotcha. That Maine Housing, that whole thing kind of going, what were they doing here? Kind of deal.
Yes, because they had a lien on the house at one point.
Oh, all right. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All those in favor? So,
And I'll do my very best on this.
I was gonna say.
I'm just gonna give it my best shot and let me know what I need to amend if necessary. My motion is that resolve the Old Town City Council approves the sale of 4 properties through the Anderson and Ball Group. 2444 Bennick Road for $10,000, 11 Grays Lane for $8,500, 802 Stillwater Ave for $18,000, and 68 Lincoln Street for $30,500.
Second.
Zach and Dave. Any further questions? We're good for that way? Okay. All those in favor? So moved. Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
What about the counter offer? Counter
Oh,
offer.
that's right, the counter right.
Going.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I
Okay.
forgot the last one.
Resolved the Old Town City Council approves to counter offer the offer made through Anderson and Ball Group at 85 Vesey Street to remove the city's responsibilities in removing any asbestos or hazardous materials not taken by the landfill prior to closing, and taking out the requirement to pay for all disposal fees for building and site tear down that is to take to Jupiter Ridge landfill.
And accept the 28,000, did you see that, right?
And to accept the bid of 28,500.
Accept the bid.
We're not, you're not accepting because you're counting.
Counting, right.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I was
Yeah, they
thinking.
missed the line.
Yep.
Pretend I didn't say that.
Okay.
Everything else sound good though? Look at that.
Vicky, I was gonna say, you must have been using your shorthand big time.
All right, so we have a motion by Zach. Oh, second by Katrina. Okay, any further questions? All right, all those in favor? So moved. All right, thank you. And now we have a motion to adjourn.
I have a question.
So moved.
Hold on,
Dave,
hold on,
I
Sean's
have a
got a
question that
question.
may require executive session.
Oh,
So if we can do the topic now or at the next, at our regular scheduled
so
council meeting?
we can do it, so we'll plan it for the
Yes.
next one.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
That'd be great.
We'll do it for the next one, so
So I'll make a motion to,
Adjourn.
adjourn.
I will second that motion.
Zach, all those in favor? Thank you, everybody.
this